was kind of an edge of your seat thriller there a little bit. Oh, you're already here.
See how comfortable it is. Wow.
I think you're probably most familiar with Patrick Imbert's work on April in the Extraordinary World and the Oscar-nominated Ernest and Celestine, one of my favorites from last decade. But he definitely hits some new heights with this. That will not be the last pun you hear, I promise. But without further ado, let me introduce Patrick Imbert. First, before anything, I just want to congratulate you on creating this visually stunning and absolutely suspenseful film.
Thank you.
Amazing. And I want to ask what drew you, see, I told you, there would be more puns. What drew you to this story specifically as the film that was going to be your first solo feature?
Nothing really, because I have been proposed to do this. And I was working at the very beginning of this project. I was working on another movie, a previous one called Big Bad Fox, and the producer came to see me and asked me some very first drawings. It was some character design on only few drawings, and that's all. It was a few days' work, but apparently they like it, and they involved me more and more into the process, and finally they asked me, they proposed me to be a director, but it had happened by chance.
Yes. I had read that you originally wanted to be a painter.
Yes.
And then moved over to animation. One of the great things about this is that so much of it feels like a painting. So what were your inspirations, your main inspirations from that? Wow, we're getting romantic tonight.
Wow.
Okay.
That's funny because when I did this, I didn't feel at all like a painter. And some people talk about the paintings, the backgrounds, but I led my team as a director, absolutely not like a painter. I mean, I have to think about what it is as a background into a movie, not a painting. So now I can answer. My main influence was not animations, other animations movie, such as let's say the Ghibli ones, or I love the Ghibli movies, but in Ghibli movies the sky is the blue sky is blue, and the green trees are really green, and it was not the what I wanted to do, and so we mostly watched a lot of live action movies. And also photo, and we tried to reach this realistic feeling, you see, and I really love the work of some comment tu dis les directeurs de la photo, DPs such as Emmanuel Lubetsky, who worked on the Iñárritu's Revenant, or many other DPs, right?
Yeah, director of photography.
Yeah. And we try to get something, the most immersive image as possible.
I think the decision, obviously, to use 2D animation, which is what you choose, was a really great idea, because sometimes when we have 3D animation, it's so realistic you get lost in the details. And in this, because you have landscapes and people, you don't get lost too much in what you're seeing, because you get lost in the story.
Thank you, but I think it's possible to do great things both in 3D or 2D. There is no specific medium. You can do what you want. But it's, you said it's a good idea. It's not an idea. It's just my job to do 2D animation. At the very beginning of the process, we thought about make it this in 3D because of the it is realistic and there is a lot of material, many details. And okay, we said let's try in 3D. So we approached some 3D studios, and they did some tests. And it appears very quickly that 3D is really expensive, and we definitely didn't have this money. So we went back to the good old 2D process, and the problems still were there, but I knew how to solve it.
I think most people know that animated films can take a lot longer to produce from beginning to end than a live-action feature. And can you tell me how COVID impacted the production of this?
Fortunately, we were in the, how can I say? We did all the pre-production, I mean the storyboard, all the creation in itself, and we were into the production, I mean the animation, and the animation already began when the COVID came, and so everybody went to work at home, and fortunately everybody has his own computer and his own tablet, so everybody was able to work from home. So we didn't stop anything. Everything has kept on going.
Yeah.
But it took a little bit more time because it was not convenient at all. And you know, sometimes, especially me, I need to give some. I need to give my intentions, and I act. I mime. That's it.
Yeah.
I mime. And it's not easy with Skype or Zoom. It's better in real life, you know. So we had a little bit of delay, but it was not that bad.
Well, I don't think you'd ever notice because the combination of the editing and the music and the sound design in this all feel completely cohesive together. It's remarkable.
Thanks.
Tell me how difficult it was to adapt the original manga and how you decided what to leave out and what to leave in.
Well, this is the 10 million euros question. I think this is the most difficult part of making a movie. What you have to tell, what you want to tell, and how you tell it. And the manga is a very huge manga. There are combien?
15,000 pages and 5 books.
So it's a lot, and you definitely cannot put all into a movie. It's impossible. So you have to make choices. And I did my very first choices at the time I read the book, because I thought it was, well, I put what I preferred on the book. And also I tried to I asked myself what was the purpose of the author of the novel on which the manga is based. And I thought, am I right or wrong, that it was these two guys' past that was the main axis of the movie. And so we tried to rebuild actually the story regarding this main axis. But this is just the first idea, and it took almost 2 or 3 years to really build this first in the writing, and then in the storyboard, because I think the storyboard is the continuity, correct, of the writing, because you see how it works for real. When the truth comes out of the screen once it's drawn. See what I mean? So I would say it's both some choices from me, of course, but also it's choices from what happened in the working process. You see?
In the last couple of years have seen quite a few movies and stories both about Everest and rock climbing. We just had Free Solo, which was here a few years ago. What do you think the appeal is, both as a filmmaker and for an audience, of these kinds of stories?
Honestly, I ain't got a clue at all. But I noticed at the time I did this that mountain is a passion that is really shared. And when I was saying I am working on a mountain movie, and people said, well, you know what? I love mountain. And it appears that a lot of people knew some stories about mountain, about Everest, and there is a kind of real interest into the public for this theme.
Yeah, the audience.
The audience.
Yeah.
And of course, as the how can I say? When you do extreme climbing, death is always around. So it's, let's say, it's useful for the drama. So you will not tell the same story in a garden. Just if you si tu t'occupes des fleurs, quoi.
Yeah, if you're planting flowers, it's not going to be as exciting.
Of course, the extreme, la dimension extrême.
Yeah, the extreme dimension, like extreme sports, basically.
Ça se prête aux histoires.
Yeah, it's like really, these kind of extreme stories are perfect for these, tales.
So maybe that's why this kind of theme have success now.
I think so. And the story of Everest is such a fantastic mystery anyway, because you have was Mallory the first, was Hillary the first? Where is it? It's like the Tesla Edison bit of history. It's like, who was really first and who gets to be in the history books? I think that might be part of the allure that we have.
This is a part of the story, but for me, it was not the main part. And this is why I made this choice, and this is why you will never know what is on the picture. Even if you freeze the movie, you will never able to see, because we pay a lot of attention to do a very out of focus frame, so it's impossible to see. Because the important is not there. At the beginning, I did not know this story about Mallory and who reached the summit. And while I was writing, I said to me, what is really important? There was something wrong when I working on this, and finally I understand that I don't really care. Sorry,
It's really not my thing.
Thank you. So I used my own point of view on these things to build the narrative arc of Fukamachi. At the beginning, he wants to have a kind of scoop, or wow, that's important, the first on Everest, or whatever. And finally, he had the answer, but what his experience in the meantime, it changes him. So it's not that important at the end. And
it's sort of running along as the theme side by side with Habu, and it's the journey more than it is the destination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what the poet René Char used to say. He said, "Aller me suffit."
Going is just enough for me.
There's a line from Buntaro's sister that really stuck with me, and that was, "You can't stop somebody from doing what they want, even if it's dangerous." And it really spoke to how driven the climbers are, but also how it's almost an addiction, because you need to get to a higher mountain, and you keep going and keep going. And that was fascinating.
I'm happy that you say this because Ryoko is me, actually. He's totally different of the manga, the character she's in the manga, and I turn this character into my own point of view because I don't do mountaineering or climbing or whatever. I don't like cold or and even if I try to understand these guys, I am limited in understanding this. And so I put my own words in her mouth. So it's as Flaubert said, Madame Bovary, c'est moi.
Oh, Flaubert said, Miss Bovary, Madame Bovary, it's me, actually.
So Ryoko, it's me. Yeah. So tonight I quote a lot. Right?
Yes, it's the first time he does that, actually.
Yeah, I keep thinking of more lines, and another was the once you get a taste of it, nothing else matters, and at the end of the day, you are alone, and it keeps kind of percolating in my head, and yeah, I didn't actually have a question for that one.
Okay.
Well, I might have gotten close to the end of where I was going to go.
I would like to add something.
Good.
This is a French version of the movie.
Oh, that's right.
I just want to say that I totally understand it's kind of weird for you to hear Japanese guys speaking French in America. Okay, it's weird. It was not supposed to be a French version. I mean, there is a dubbing which is ongoing, and it will be released in dub version. And my goal is that every public, every audience should be watch this movie in his own language, because I really want to reach the public, and I want to touch him, and I think for this, at least, this is better to have the same language. So sorry about this.
It is, and there's already a multicultural appeal to it. You're a French filmmaker adapting Japanese work.
It
takes place in Nepal. So that makes perfect sense. I love that. Okay. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.